she was like, what would you call your company? And I was like, oh, well, B Squared. My name's Baker, my son's name's Brumfield. B Squared Entertainment. And she's like, okay, great. So start B Squared Entertainment. I'll help you. She was in sales at the time, but she was like, I'll help you. I'll work with you. And then my friend Kwame, who was in the previous company but had quit, he was around and he said he had some projects that he'd love to bring to the table. My brother was in finance and he agreed to help do the financials for the company and to work with us in that manner. Wanda had a friend named Pam who actually said, I can introduce you guys to a guy who helps people raise money. And she introduced us to a guy named Waleed Shamsuddin. And so basically I began taking all of the pieces of things that I have worked on in Red Clay and Strange Fruit and starting to create a new business plan for a new company and putting together a corporate deck of the company with projects so that it could be attractive to an investor. One thing that we wanted to do was get an office. So a guy named Tom, who had been my neighbor, helped me find commercial office space in Buckhead. Tom and I were standing out front of this place that he showed me that I really like. I called Wanda and said, I think I found the right office. It's really cute and everything. And Tom is pointing to the Grand Hyatt Hotel. And he said, you know what? He was like, my friend's the GM there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. He said, you know, what's so funny is he told me that Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston stay there a lot. And I was like, oh, really? He said, yeah. He said, they live here in Atlanta, but it seems that I guess they like to have their little getaways at this hotel. And he said that sometimes he was like, one time they stayed there for a whole month. And I was like, that is so interesting. We finally closed our investor and our lawyers come to town from LA. They actually came out to celebrate with us that we finally, after all this time, got an investor so that we can literally have our office. And they believe like, okay, get the company started and you guys are going to sell the scripted show. When they came by, so after we finished our celebration lunch, I took the attorneys to see our new office space. And as they were leaving, I actually told them the story about the Grand Hyatt. I said, oh, guess who goes to that hotel? And I was like, it's so interesting that I really think that the two of them would make a great reality show. And the attorney said, now that will put your company on the map, but you would never get them. Whitney's people would never allow that to happen. So I was like, oh, okay. They leave. They head back to the airport. Everybody's gone. I get in the car. I call Wanda. And I said, you know, I was talking to the attorneys about Whitney and Bobby having a reality show. And she was like, oh, well, what did they say? And I said, oh, they said it could never happen. And then Wanda, she is very competitive. So she says, what? Well, we could try. And then I said, okay, how will we get in touch with her? And she was like, 6 degrees of separation.
Tracey came to my house in Los Angeles and very casually mentioned that she was creating a show about Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. And I remember laughing because at that time, although, you know, there were a lot of rumors surrounding Whitney and Bobby's relationship, it's Whitney Houston. And so I brushed it off. I thought, oh, right, Whitney Houston, like, how is she going to make that happen?
So we called Waleed, who is now our new business partner, because he has a lot of connects. And we said, look, we need some help. And he said, okay, what? And we said, we need to get to Bobby Brown. And I said, look, he's in jail. People in jail love visitors. So can't you get us on the visitation list so we can go and talk to him? Because we have an idea. We're thinking, what if they could do a reality show? And so Waleed said, okay, let me see what I could do. Let me use a phone call to see what I could do. And he calls back the next day and he says, I have 2 basic contacts for you. One is Bobby's lawyer and one is their spiritual advisor. I meet with the spiritual advisor, and at first he was a little hesitant, and he said, reality show, what are you talking about? Because this is 15 years ago, so no one had a reality show but the Osbournes, I believe. So then he suggested that I meet with Bobby's brother, Tommy Brown. And I agreed to the meeting. He set it up. Bobby's brother agrees to meet with me for breakfast. I don't know why he wanted to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, but it was fine for me because I dropped my son off at school. And I meet with him, and he falls asleep, literally for 2 hours. And I don't know what it was inside of me, but something inside of me was like, do not leave, just stay. So Wanda is calling, texting me, and I'm like, I'm still here. She has no idea what's going on. Finally, he wakes up. I'll never forget, it's spring. Spring is March. It's the first part of March. And so it's not cold. Like, you need a little jacket. But I remember that the sun is out and there was this breeze, but it was nice. And it was hitting his face. So it was waking him up, thank God. And he looked at me and said, oh yeah. What were we meeting about? Excuse me? I said, your brother? And he said, okay. And he goes, what? And I was like, your brother, like doing a reality show. He's like, a reality show? Oh no, you can put on cameras in their house and all that kind of stuff. I said, wait. And I said, look, first of all, I watched you sleep for 2 hours. So you're actually definitely gonna hear me out. Second of all, I said, do you know why basketball players make more money than football players? They come with a marketing degree. And he said, no, why? I was like, because you can't see the football player's face, dude. I was like, at this point, according to everyone else in the world, Bobby is just like, he has his wife, he has Whitney Houston tied to a bed, just pumping drugs down his throat or something. We need to remove the fourth wall. We need to allow people into their space, and we need to see who he really is. I was like, that could change, because then he is in control over his story. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna get you on the phone with my brother. Leave me your number. When he calls me, because remember, he's in jail, so he goes, I'm gonna put you guys on the phone and I'm gonna orchestrate a call so you could talk to him and go from there. And he did. Like, actually later that day, he called me with Bobby, and Bobby was really like, what? Like, huh? I don't even think he even understood what a reality show really was. But he was just like, yeah, okay, but not really okay. And I think Wanda and I had one other meeting with Tommy. And Tommy was like, no, when he gets out of jail, we'll talk about this. So I was like, okay, cool. Okay, just stay in touch with me. When is he getting out? Soon. That's what he kept saying, soon. He didn't have a date.
I felt like at first it was a little crazy because I didn't know what it, in a sense, like I didn't know how big it was or what it was. I just remember her telling me that she was going to go see Bobby in jail. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know who Bobby was at the time. I was younger, so I didn't know who Bobby Brown was. I knew he was Chrissy's dad, but that's all I really knew.
And the next day, he's on the phone. He goes, hey, my brother wants to talk to you. And I was like, great. Hello, Bobby Brown. What's going on? And he said, so you want to do a reality show with me, right? Right? That's what we talked about. And I said, yeah. He was like, well, if you want to do a reality show with me, you need to turn them cameras on right now. And I'm like, right now you're in Boston, I'm in Atlanta. And he said, yeah, well, you need to get here. So all I could think of was like opportunity.
I'm pretty sure it was a Thursday. And I remember Bobby saying to her through the phone, if you girls are serious about doing a reality show with me, then meet me in Boston today with your camera team, and the producer and all of that. And though we were just starting our business, I was still like corporate America. So he's like senior producer in your camera team. And she goes, okay, you got to go. You got to get a camera team. You got to take audio. I'm like, I'm not a producer.
So we just went to work. And then I called Bobby and I was like, where's your lawyer? And he said, my lawyer will be here soon. And I said, okay, excellent. So our attorneys, I called them and they were like, what? I said, Bobby Brown said he's going to do this reality show. All we need to do is get him this piece of paper for him to sign with the release and everything, agreeing for us to film with him. And I said, and Wanda is going to be on the plane to Boston, and we're going to start filming. And then they were like, does he have a lawyer? And I said, yes, he has an attorney that's going to look over the paperwork. They faxed the paperwork. His attorney looked over. They faxed it back. Wanda was on the plane, and basically we were making a show.
And I remember when she called and she goes, I got her. I have Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. And, you know, I think it goes back to the faith and Tracey's belief in herself. She believes 100% in her, probably 150% in her ability to get whatever she, pursues, and to excel in whatever she puts her hands to. So,
you know, basically I told Bobby that I wanted to call the show Being Bobby Brown, based on a film I had seen called Being John Malkovich. Bobby loved the title because he had called his record company Triple B. And then when Whitney, she came along, she literally was like, oh, I'm his wife. How are you guys going to make a show with him without his wife? And we were like, oh, we were thinking you could just be in it a little bit. And she was like, nope, she was all in, full on to be along for the journey. And that's really how we ended up just marching forward and, you know, shopping the show to different networks. And so we started talking to the cable networks, and then Bravo came along willing to, you know, make a deal that allowed us control over our footage. And so we made a deal with them. They literally at that time only had Queer Eye and Actors Studio.
I don't think that I understood what lay ahead of us because, you know, it wasn't an easy road. It was somewhat foreign to both of us. I mean, because we were doing unprecedented things. Like we raised our own money to film the project. And though we had such a high profile talent, it wasn't easy. Everybody wanted them in Hollywood, but what we didn't know about them was they had a reputation for not finishing anything. So though networks wanted them, they were like, yeah, but if y'all could get to the finish line with it. So at that point, we were like learning a lot of new things. We were learning things about producing reality TV. We were learning a lot about our talent, things that we didn't know about them.
Watching Tracey create, she's a business person, but she's a creative business person. So she kind of really, in a professional way, created that situation from nothing. So it was enlightening, educational for me, inspirational to watch her maneuver, you know, and create and manage talent, and in particular those two talents, and to be able to do that without being starstruck. You know, she was relatable. She related to them as people. She extracted what we needed from them. So that was quite an experience. It really was a life-changing experience for me. I'm very thankful to have been included.
You know, we just said, oh, if we need a light, we throw up a light. But cameras just rolled with those two. And we didn't know it at the time that what we were doing and what we were creating. And we didn't think about it because, like, when you start being around people, they become familiar. So you sort of forget that, oh, Whitney Houston is one of the biggest stars ever in the world. And these two are forever pop culture. So here we were, these two young producers making something that ultimately would go down in the history books. And, you know, a reality show, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, and a show that would become a big part of pop culture.
Like that Being Bobby Brown was one of the first reality shows, and I know it was the first one on Bravo. The fact that she did that holds a lot of weight in the film and television world. So people understand that she did it on her own. Of course, it took the relationship with she found the right star, Bobby and Whitney. You know what I'm saying? But like, that was Bobby's show. That was crazy. And when Whitney's show, it was just annoying. But yeah, I think she's absolutely a pioneer.